Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit more about playing a 12-bar pattern, either for blues or for rock, and actually a lot of country music has 12-bar patterns. And what we mean by that is in each verse there are 12 bars of music, and bars is just simply how we split music up, as opposed to with writing we split it up into sentences and phrases, etc. So bars normally in a lot of music will have 4 beats per bar, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and other combinations as well. But in most blues and rock, it's 4 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 bar of music. Anyway, we've looked at how to play a blues pattern in A, which can also be used in rock. So here's the basic blues walking bass, if you like, on guitar in A. Etc. And in rock that would be okay. So we've already got a little video that deals with key of A. So I thought we might want to look at playing the same kind of thing in other keys. Now, to a certain extent, you can just simply use one of these, a capo, and move things up the neck. So, in other words, if we wanted to play in the key of B flat, otherwise known as A sharp, we would put the capo across the first fret. Make sure it's nice and clean and no buzzing. Generally, we want the capo pretty close to the actual fret wire there. And now we simply move up the pattern 1 fret, and we're doing the same thing again. So now we're playing that in B flat. If we want to move it up another fret, again, I'll just check. Make sure we're clean. Yep, now we're in B. And so on and so forth. The next fret would give you C, C sharp, D, D sharp, or E flat, E. But we want a kind of a bassy sound, so we don't want to get too high up on the neck ready for doing this kind of stuff. So let's look at how you do that same thing in a couple of other keys anyway. I'm just going to tilt my stand a little bit there. There we go. So key of E is not too bad. Key of E, we're doing the same thing, starting off on the open 6th and the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now, the 3 chord positions, if you like, we're going to need in the key of E for playing a 12-bar standard pattern in blues or rock. We're going to need E, A, but here comes the problem. We're going to need B, which involves us in doing this 2nd fret of the 5th string and 4th fret of the 4th string. Or what we can do that's a lot kinder on the hands, and believe me, I don't go looking for things to be too hard. We can actually just use a B7 chord for the B part of the verse, if you like. So let me just demonstrate that. So this is going to be just a straightforward pattern, 12 bars, using E, A, and B positions. But we're going to do the walking bass on the E and the A, and then we're going to go to the chord for the B. And we're going to use B7, okay? So here it goes. So we're doing 4 bars of E. Here comes the A, which we've already covered as well in the key of A. Back to E. Now we're going to bring in the B7. Now go to the A walk, which is a bit of a change there, and then back to E. But this takes practice, okay? Now I ended that like that, or I could have gone to a B7 chord and gone. Okay, so that's how you would do it in the key of E. I'll just do it in a bit of a rock rhythm. don't get too hung up if you hit the wrong strings. Nobody will notice if you carry on. That's something I've learned as a musician over the years, is that everybody makes mistakes. I don't care how long they've been playing. Everybody makes mistakes. For the most part, unless someone's really seeking to criticize, in which case you probably don't want them listening to your music anyway, but generally speaking, people are very, very happy they don't notice mistakes if you carry on, if you keep going, okay? So that's key of E. Now, here's a much nicer thing, maybe. Key of G, yes, we could keep going up the neck, sort of, but it's that by that time, yeah, we're going to not have a nice bassy sound. So in the key of G, we can actually incorporate it into full chords if we like. Okay, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a moment. If we were doing a 12-bar blues or rock in G, we would need the chords G, C, and D. Okay, now what we can do is we can incorporate that little walk-in bass in this. Let me show you what I mean. Here it is on a G chord, okay? And I know the sun is shining in here right now, which makes it a bit hard to see. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm taking my G chord. I'm going to be moving my first finger alternately to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. Don't worry if your fingers are kind of muting the 5th string there. It doesn't matter at all. In fact, it's a good thing. So I was going, my first finger, I was moving from the 2nd fret of the 5th string across to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay, and back. Okay. Now, when it's time to change to the C, we can do a very similar thing, but this time we're going to use the 2nd finger, okay, to move onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now when it comes to the D, we're going to use our 4th finger to simply hit the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Now, our 4th finger is our weakest finger, really, and it doesn't really like doing this stuff on guitar, but gradually, over time, you know, you can educate your 4th finger to be, to do what you want, I guess. It's interesting, if you actually watch, you know, well-known guitar players who've been playing for years and years and years, you'll find that some will kind of avoid using the 4th finger. Not all, but some will. So, again, on the G, now the C, I'm going to retune this guitar in just a moment. It's probably adjusting the temperature. Back to G. Now here's the D, C, and G. Let's just have a quick retune here. I've got a tune on this guitar. My E string's okay. C is okay. G is okay. Actually, seems to be in tune, and it's probably just the strings are getting a bit old, so the intonation is starting to go, which means the strings have stretched unevenly, and so maybe when I'm hitting certain frets, it's actually kind of putting it out of tune. But anyway, here we go once again on the G. 2, 3, 4. Here comes the C. And back to G. And here's the D. Another thing just to mention along the way is don't worry too much about when you're changing chords. Don't worry if you're not changing instantly, because in fact one of the nice things about the sound of a guitar is that you can use those open strings as you're changing from one chord to another, and in fact, so it's really nice to just let them ring. And while you're getting used to changing chords and may not be as fast as you will be one day, don't worry about it. Just keep going and just try and get your fingers down as as fast as you can, but don't worry about the ringing strings, because that's part of the charm of a guitar. A piano is a fabulous instrument, but as soon as you let go of those notes, of those keys, the sound's gone, right? With a guitar, the open strings carry on, if you like. I'll show you what I mean. So I just carried on strumming even though I was taking my time to change the chord. Okay, so yeah, just a couple of things. So again, just a quick review. We can use the capo to move up the neck and just use that A walk that we were doing before, but we don't want to get too high up the neck because we're going to lose that bassy sound. Key of E we can do quite nicely, but when we come to the B position, we're going to use a B7 chord. Anyway, I hope that's clear as mud, and sorry the lighting's getting a bit iffy here, but there we go. Hopefully that's of some use.